Let me ask you something. Do endorsements actually do anything for a candidate? Like, yard signs are great and all, but what if an endorser actually does something? If someone took action, an action that really did help a candidate, that would be a truly useful and notable endorsement. Actions speak louder than words, right? Enter the state-level endorsement. When a foreign country endorses a candidate, the country is Iran and the candidate is whoever the Democrats have been offering. I realize that's changed through a process of coronation, but bear with me here. It was Joe, but now it's Kamala. So what actions has Iran taken to actually endorse the DNC nominee? Well, that's a good question. On September 11th of this year, the Department of Justice put out a press release in which they announced that Asif Raza Merchant, a Pakistani national with close ties to Iran, was arrested in June in a murder-for-hire plot. ABC News said on September 16th that he pled not guilty to charges against him for his plot to assassinate Donald Trump. Attorney General Merrick Garland said that the Justice Department will not tolerate Iran's efforts to target our country's public officials. This isn't coming from Alex Jones or Senor Nicolas Fuentes or Fox News. This is the Justice Department, this is the Attorney General, and ABC all confirming and reporting Iran paid a Pakistani to get Donald Trump assassinated. I think that means that Iran really doesn't want Trump to get elected, but let's go on because there's a lot more to this. On August 19th, NBC News reported that Iran had hacked into Donald Trump's campaign computers, and the US government confirmed this. Donald Trump's campaign was hacked again, a second time in September, and this time the Iranian-backed hackers sent the data they stole to the Democrats. Now, lots of people have yard signs, but Iran has actually worked to keep Donald Trump out of office. And there's something that bears mentioning here. Iran is deeply and closely tied to jihadists, to Hezbollah, to Hamas, and to Russia. Russia has been in close contact with Iran as an ally and a proxy in the Middle East, with weapons deals, military advisors, money, intelligence, and more being exchanged. These countries are friends. Either one of them is unlikely to act in a way that really screws over the other one. Iran needs Russia. It needs Russian hardware, Russian advice, and Russian help. One of the things that can strain this Iranian-Russian relationship is American foreign policy, which is set by the American president. But for the last 4 years, the Biden-Harris administration has not been one to put meaningful pressure on Iran. In fact, it's just the opposite. That's one reason why Iran is trying to help the Democrats win. In this year alone, 2024, the Biden-Harris administration freed more than $10 billion in frozen Iranian assets, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, that happened after the massacre on October 7th, and after all of the Iranian allies have been using Iranian supplies to murder Israeli civilians in the year since then. In late 2021, the Biden-Harris administration lifted sanctions against Iranian missile producers, according to The Hill. That decision aged like milk left in a car in July. In February of 2022, the Biden-Harris administration restored waivers to sanctions previously imposed on Iran by Donald Trump. And in September of 2023, $6 billion of Iranian funds was unfrozen by the Biden-Harris administration in a prisoner swap and in negotiations with the terror state. For the last 4 years, every year, the Biden-Harris administration has done something to help Iran. Now, ostensibly, all of this money was only supposed to be spent on good things like food and humanitarian aid, but let's remember, we can't even make sure that American EBT and food stamp funds are spent on good things. If you think we can control Iran's spending, I've got a Nigerian prince you really need to meet. In light of this, it's no wonder that Iran is working to help the Democrats keep Trump out of office. It's no wonder they want Kamala Harris to continue the policies she stood by and worked on for the last 4 years. Iran really believes that Donald Trump's foreign policy is a threat to their terror funding regime, and they are acting on that. Trump has sanctioned Iran before, he would do it again. Iran knows their own interests. They know the interests of their allies like Hezbollah, Hamas, and Palestinian jihadists. And Hamas and Hezbollah share these interests, as you can see here. So do the pro-terror, pro-Hamas, pro-jihad rioters on American college campuses. Those rioters aren't Trump voters. Those are progressive Kamala voters. Those voters agree with the interests of Hamas, Iran, Hezbollah, and they know how to vote to protect those interests. Iran wants Kamala Harris to be president. So do their terrorist allies and the American college students rioting on their behalf. There's no incongruence here. There's no contradiction of belief. By their actions, Iran endorses Kamala Harris for president. Except that we don't really say that countries endorse candidates. We just call it election interference. If you found this video useful, would you do me a favor? Please share it. And don't just share it with your echo chamber or people that you know agree with you. Share it with people that disagree with you. Share it with people that haven't made up their minds yet. Share it with swing voters, share it in swing states and in groups where this message might get out and help people to think a little bit more critically about the issues at hand.